The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's October 15th, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Joined once again this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by GameTime.co, your headquarters for all your ticket needs. You want to go to the Louisville game Saturday? There's no better place to go get your tickets than at GameTime.co, where they got the best deals and the best mechanism to buy tickets anywhere in the country. We'll talk more about Game Time later. But today we are going to be talking about the Festival of Happiness that is taking place all around us here this morning. It starts out with Matt Shodell, who is euphoric because it's Stone Crab Day. Yes, the season has arrived. And that means Matt can get on a boat today and go out there and just start torturing those poor little guys like only he knows how. For those of you that don't know what I'm
Oh, sweet. That's a fighter. There you go. Go back and regenerate your claws, my friend.
So it's now legal. He can do it legally. I'm sure he's been doing it illegally for all these weeks. He insists no, but this guy's already on his doorstep. So my guess is
you keep calling that a guy. It's clearly a woman, just so you know. I mean, that's you expect people to believe you when you talk about the offense.
Let me look closer. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. I haven't looked at it. You're right. It's clearly a woman protester.
I mean, I don't know what body pressure you're looking at, but
anyway,
it's a man. I got something your wife wants to talk to you about.
So anyway, all right. So we got this Festival of Happiness because Stone Crab season is here now, which means Matt can go out and Stone Crab, and he's already notified me that he may not make it back in time for tonight's CaneSport live show because he's got to get out on the boat this afternoon and go get himself some stone crabs. So we'll see what happens tonight at 8:00, whether Matt shows up for the show or not. If not, myself and Greg and the Italian Stallion and everybody else will try to carry it.
At least I have my priorities. I have my priorities right. That's the main thing. That's it's just like Mario Cristobal. You got to make the main thing the main thing. You got to focus, get the job done. That's what I'm going to do today. 3 p.m. But it's whenever.
But it's a festival of happiness for other reasons as well. And a big reason is Mario Cristobal is a happy guy these days. And he told us yesterday that this is the most fun he's ever had in coaching in all his years. And a big part of that is that the players are buying into his coaching and they're buying into what he and his staff are trying to do. And right now that has been, like we've been talking about the last couple of days, a lot of self-evaluation, probing for ways to make their team better. And I've laid out a lot of them. We're not going to go back through them today. You can see them in the column I had on the website if you haven't read that yet. But I lay out a lot of ideas. But they have their own ideas, and they're studying film and looking at their tendencies and different areas for ways they can improve the football team, which is absolutely vital. And Mario, it seems like common sense, but how many teams do you see go into football seasons and then hit walls in the middle of the year because they don't continuously get better? And when you have an open week, it's an opportunity to do that. And they have taken it. They've practiced now a few days on themselves, okay? Just working on ways that they can make the Miami Hurricanes better. And we will start to see that hopefully on Saturday at 12 noon at Louisville, because now they've started game week preparations. And Matt, this is shaping up as what figures to be a very difficult football game. And in addition to, we'll talk more about what the Mario and the coordinator said, but we also have a story on the website today taking a look at why the Louisville offense will present a major challenge for the Miami Hurricanes defense. This is a very good Louisville team that is going to challenge Miami at every level on Saturday. They've had this game circled. They've spent an enormous amount of preparation time during the offseason getting ready for this game. So let's start there. We'll get back to Mario and his happiness and all that in a moment. But let's start there. What is it about Louisville, particularly their offense, that is going to give Miami a major challenge on Saturday?
Well, a lot of things. This is an offense that can pass and run, right? So that's always going to create a problem for any defense. A lot of college offenses, it's not like in the NFL where you have talent all over the place. College programs tend to be either you're good at one or good at the other. And if you're good at both, you're going to have a really good offense. So right now, Louisville ranks number 20 in passing offense and number 60 in rushing offense, okay? But with that said, they found a running back, Isaac Brown, who last game ran 20 times for 140-something yards and 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 8.6 yards per carry. So he's emerged from a room that had 4 guys running the ball, and he's now the guy. So I would argue that they have a really good running back room. He also can catch the ball. They got really good receivers. Ja'Cory Brooks is one of the top ACC receivers after transferring in. 572 yards, 6 touchdowns. And this Colin Lacey guy, I think, is not on the radar of people, but should be because he was hurt for the first couple of games. He had 50 yards last game, but he's the guy that had 1,300 yards at South Alabama last year, and he's really, really good. So, again, there are mismatches for Louisville, and I said this yesterday, with Louisville's passing offense against Miami's secondary.
Yep.
The biggest area that Miami has a mismatch for in attacking Louisville is going to be the pass rush, because the Louisville quarterback can move around a little bit, but he's not a running quarterback. He had one nice run against Notre Dame on a total bust, but other than that, he hasn't run for, I don't think, anything all year. So that's an advantage to Miami because, the Louisville offensive line is okay. It's good, but it's not great. And if the Miami defensive line can play up to its potential with Tyler Barron and Ruben Bain, 2 potential high NFL draft picks off the edge, Akeem Messidor, who's a pass rushing tackle, Simeon Barrow, who's been playing out of his mind at tackle, like those 4 guys, you're going to have you're going to create some major issues for Louisville. And that's where Louisville's going to have to scheme up some stuff to help get time, because if they don't have time to find guys down the field, that's how Miami's going to win this game pretty easily. If they do have time to find guys down the field, then this is going to be like the last 2 games where Miami has to score 40 points to win.
While I'm saying this, look up number of reps that Barron, Barrow, Bain's just starting, but Barron, Barrow, and Messidor. Look up how many reps per game they're averaging, because
Barrow's played 173 in 6 games, so about 30 reps a game. But remember, 3 of the games were blowouts. They didn't need to play in the second half, so he's playing a skewed amount. He played 60. Or actually, I have to look how many. He didn't play 60, but I have to look how many he played last. I can look how many he played last game right here. Hold on. And then Barron's played about the same, 248. So they're both about the same number. So
last game, 30 reps a game.
Last game, he played 36, Barrow. 36 reps on defense out of, they didn't play many reps at all. 59 was the only amount of reps they played.
How many reps did Barron have in that game?
Yeah, and then Barron last game played 42 reps. So
that's not too bad. I'm just thinking on the defensive line in this game, they might want to balance it a little bit more towards the starters. I know they believe in rotation. Rotation's great, but there's a drop off between Barrow and Moten, for example, and I really think this is a game where they need to have their best players on the field as much as possible.
Where did you come from? I thought you were just saying yesterday on this show how they got to play different guys, more guys. Now all of a sudden just play the starters? No. Like, what's happening?
No, you're talking about 2 different things. I said they need to get more guys involved more often offensively. I think they do.
Only on offense, not on defense. Okay.
Well, on defense, they you typically do rotate up front, and I don't have any problem with that. I'm just thinking that in this game, I personally think this game's the whole season. Maybe I'll end up being wrong. I hope I'm wrong in a positive way, and Miami blows them out. But I think this game is everything. It's the whole ball of wax here on Saturday at 12. And I'm thinking my mind's working like, what do they need to do to play the best they can play? And on defense, I think that means that the best players up front need to impact the game as much as they can.
No,
They can't do it from the bench. Yeah.
100%. Ahmad Moten's tackle grade is 27%. I can get a 27% tackle grade standing in place. Okay, I can't.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think you got to max out Simeon Barrow in this game.
Well, what I was going to say is
max out Messador, you got to max out Bain, and you got to max out Barron.
Well,
you got to
max
out
every game.
those 4 guys.
They should do that every game. But the guys that don't understand why they're not stepping up more, like Justin Scott is a guy he's not redshirting. He's played 5 games. I don't understand. This is the second half of the season. Maybe after this bye, he will be the next guy up because that's the kind of guy. This is why you paid him to come to Miami as a 5-star. For these, not to sit on the bench for the first year and then transfer after that when he gets a better deal somewhere else. You got to get
him ready to be a starter next year.
He should be the next guy up in this game. I don't know if they prepared him for that, but he should be that guy. He's better than Ahmad Moten, okay? And I understand maybe he doesn't understand everything, but he should understand enough where you could put him in for a few plays here and there. And then also it's very disappointing to me that Josh Horton hasn't stepped up because he was a guy that they thought last year was going to be a real amazing player, and he just hasn't progressed. So, right now, I agree with you. There's no point putting Ahmad Moten out there. He has not played well.
Well, or at least not as much. I think this is a game where the starters got to go a little longer. I hopefully they'll be able to handle it. I don't think it'll be ridiculously hot. I haven't looked at the weather report yet. But I think it's
and by the way, CJ Clark's been okay, by the way. So it's not like Moten is the next guy up. So CJ Clark, and if you can get Barrow some reps, that's what I'd go with. But you can't play these guys to death in the first 3 quarters. That's why they play so few reps because they're saving them for the 4th quarter in case they really have a tight game. You don't want those last 2 series of the game with your best player can't even move because he's so exhausted. And also.
I mean, Saturday up there in Louisville, we're looking at a high of about 70, 71 probably, this should play right into what Miami needs. I think I would maybe go a few extra reps with those guys on the D line and try to max out their impact on the game. This to me is really the whole ball of wax here this week. And that's why I'm so intent on, this needs to be the best version of Miami that we see on Saturday. And I don't feel that we've seen that completely oiled machine since Gainesville. And I'm throwing out Ball State and FAMU. Okay. But when you look at South Florida, they were decent. Virginia Tech, very uneven. And Cal, very uneven. I want to see this team really, really, really take a step forward now. And I think the open week's been good, and I think they have been working on getting better, like we talked about. And Mario seems very happy with the effort that he's getting from his players on the practice field. So you put all of that together, and it's a good-looking picture right now for Miami. But so we have this story on the website, taking a look at why the Louisville offense will present major challenge for Miami. And the biggest reason is they're really good. I mean, they are flat good. And they have a quarterback that completes 63% of his passes. He's got 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's really good throwing the ball down the field. He's one of the better guys in the country on throws of 20 or more yards down the field. He grades out 92.1 with Pro Football Focus in that particular area, which is beyond outstanding. And he's got a guy calling the plays that is probably as good as anybody in the country as an offensive coordinator. They can run the football. They're not one-dimensional. They're able to mix in the running game like Matt just talked about. And this is going to be a yeoman's challenge for Lance Guidry and his defense. But we did speak to Guidry yesterday as well, Matt, and he seems very confident. He's put time in on his homework, and he seems like he feels good about his game plan and that the defense will rise to the occasion on Saturday. I'm concerned a little bit about the matchup against the Miami DBs.
Yeah, he doesn't express much concern at all. I didn't find anything that he said to be anything really noteworthy. It was sort of like a lot of blah 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 type stuff. He said that we self-evaluate every week. The bye week's no different. He just spent more time looking at Louisville film from last year on the bye week. If you just listen to him and what he said, talk about the quarterback a little bit. It says how great they are, but he says that about every team. So, I think there was really nothing to glean out of what he said. Even I think you were asking both of them because of your column. You asked both coordinators if they can get better on their side of the ball. To which shockingly they responded, "Yes, we can get better." I was amazed that they said that. I thought they were going to say, "No, we can get worse."
They can get this team. Let me tell you
something.
something.
They're not going to. No, coach, you fell for the coach talk.
I understand all that, but I'm saying it's really true. This team is just scratching the surface of what it can be.
What team at Miami hasn't been? I would argue that the last 20 years of teams at Miami played at a lesser level compared to their potential than this year's team. I think this year's team is playing at a closer level to its actual ceiling than the last 20 years team. Sorry?
The 2017 team was treeing out of their mind at this point in the season.
Okay, so one
you heard that? You ever hear that phrase? Treeing out of their mind? Yeah,
that's fair.
Like they were treeing out of their mind. But for you to
be harping on this year's team being so far from its potential when it's the closest it's been to its potential other than 1 year in the last 20 years, I don't get it.
Because they're 6-0, they lead the country in offense, and they're just like, to me, they're just scratching the surface. And Shannon,
that's why I'm saying I don't understand that. How much better can they be than 6-0 and first in the country in offense? I don't know how much more hype they have on that.
Talent that has barely gotten going. Like
the defensive line, I think, is playing fine. Linebackers, Noah can be better, and the defensive backs, I think, are what they are. We've already talked about this, but
we're going to find out Saturday if they are what they are.
Yeah,
because they've had time now to shore up the mental side. They shouldn't be making the mental bust that they were making against Cal. And we're going to find out because they're going to be challenged on Saturday. And we're going to find out what they really are. There's going to be no mysteries by the end of this game. There's no doubt about it. All right. So Guidry, he talked a little bit about the slow starts. And he acknowledged that they're a second half team right now based off of the last couple of weeks. They've played pretty good football in the second half of games, which has allowed the offense, to do the great things that it's done.
You know what? You're right. That was something. That was the only really interesting thing you said. You're right. Good for you to bring that up. What does that mean to you, by the way?
What did you say?
What does that mean to you? The fact that they come out and they're not playing well in the beginning on defense for the first half. What does that tell you?
They're making mentals.
Well, what does that? What it tells me is they're not prepared for the opposing offense. They're not understanding. They're not understanding off whatever the coaches are teaching how they're supposed to come out and play that team. And then as they see it, they figure it out. Like, that's not okay.
I was momentarily.
I've never seen a coach throw himself under the bus, but Lance Guidry managed to do that yesterday with that one sentence, which I forgot to mention. You're right.
I was momentarily trying to be a little bit more delicate than you, Matt. But
why?
The truth of the matter is,
what is this show? What's the name of this show? Good Morning CaneSport. It's not let's make everything happy and roses for the Miami Hurricanes.
I was trying to be a little bit more, I don't know. I was trying to soften that message, but you're absolutely right. They've come out not prepared, and it's been up here, and they've been mentally busting, and they've had to make corrections on the fly, and like I don't want to be like. People are like coming at me a lot on the YouTube messages and stuff. They think I'm being too tough, that I should like be, a little bit more like euphoric about the 6-0 start or whatever. Like, but for me, the 6-0 start just ups the ante. It's like, it makes it more meaningful what happens the second half of the season. It's like, this is no time to take the foot off anyone's throats. Like, this is the time to press harder and push harder and probe harder and get guys to play harder because it means a lot more now.
But that's not what you've said for the last 2 days. What you just said is what you should have said the last 2 days because it's correct.
No, I said they should be pushing to get better.
That's not what
what else did I say? That's exactly what I said. They should
be run through what you said?
And they have been. And they have been, Matt, huh?
You're becoming like the Patrick Nixon. You're like the Patrick Nixon reporters all of a sudden. It's like
you're very
predictable, And then all of a sudden, you do something that makes no sense.
I'm very consistent, but like some of these guys, like that post on YouTube and stuff, like they come hard, man. Like they are like ruthless, and like I take what they say to heart, as I should. I mean, there are viewers; they're waking up every morning and watching the show, and like I'm being told that I'm being way too big of a worrywart, that I should acknowledge how great this team is and shouldn't be questioning anything. And
I wrote that one. That's the one that I wrote. Yeah.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. But like, I'm not questioning. Like, I'm excited about this team, and I think it has enormous potential. And I want it so bad for all the fans and the coaches and the program in general. We have not had a team finish a season in more than 20 years here. Like, it's time. Let's finish this season. Let's win the damn ACC for the first time ever. Let's go into the playoff with momentum, and let's see how we can do against Texas or Georgia or Alabama or any of these teams that they put in front of us at that point in the season. Oregon. I'd love to see us play Oregon.
How great would that be?
Boy, would Mario be puckered up for that one? Woo! I wouldn't want to go near Mario that week if we end up drawing Oregon in the playoff. But like, I want to see that for everybody, and I want it so badly. And I'm sorry if it comes across like I'm over the top, micro thinking all this stuff. But like, man, I just see so much potential in this team, and like they've been working hard at it though the last couple of days. That was a message that came through loud and clear to us here in the last 24 hours and all of the interviews that we've been doing. And so Lance Guidry, back to him. So he's looking, he wants to start faster. So we asked him, well, how do you do that?
Right.
And
they had no answer. He's like, I don't know.
He's like, if I could put my finger on it, I would. And listen, the techniques, the fundamentals, those types of things they can work on the practice field. You can make those things better in practice. The mental side of it, the players got to put more time in, Matt. They got to invest more time and effort in during the week in making sure they know their assignments, making sure they have 100% grasp on what they're supposed to do in every situation. That's the only way you can eliminate mental mistakes.
Listen, if they, how for the presidential debates, they take these random voters and they show the responses based on what the candidate's saying, and if the candidate says something that people are excited about, it goes up, Lance Guidry might have started up here, and as his interview went on, he would be going down and down and down. I mean, it was just one of his worst interviews just because he didn't say anything and it just didn't sound like he had a plan.
They got him out of there really fast, too.
Sorry,
we went really long with Shannon Dawson and Mario. So Guidry, I think, was standing around waiting to go, and he had other stuff to do. Like they got him out of there really, really, really fast.
That's possible, yeah, because it was unlike him, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because he's overwhelmed trying to figure out what the hell he's going to do against Louisville.
He's got a big job this week.
Or maybe it was just coming off a bye. I mean, what are you going to talk about? One reporter just kept talking about the Cal game. I mean, I think fans have already moved on from the Cal game. They don't need to hear about Xavier Restrepo's 77-yard catch. What happened on that play? Like, they've moved past that. They should have done these interviews last week. That would have made a lot more sense. But now fans care about 6-0 rankings, the next game. They don't want to hear about Cal and Virginia Tech anymore. And that's to your point also. Like, this team needs to move past that. You can't linger on, oh, what did we do wrong? And, oh, how do we fix it? Because the next challenge, they're going to do something different. Louisville's going to look at what Cal did. They're going to look at what Virginia Tech did. But they're not going to do the same things. That's not how this works in a Brom offense, okay? They run what they run. And they're extremely multiple and difficult to defend. And that's why Lance Guidry spent the last 10 days, or whatever it's been, 14 days, I don't know whenever the last game was. I don't do math very well. Looking at last year's Louisville game, because even though it's a different quarterback and different personnel, a lot of different personnel, it's the same system. And they're going to do the same things against Lance Guidry's defense because it's the same scheme that Brom faced last year. So it's going to be a lot of the same type of misdirection stuff that has caused Miami a lot of problems over the years, including last year. And this team needs to be ready for it, and they need to be on point. And, it was also interesting when Shannon Dawson spoke, he talked about reining in his own offense in order to help the defense, which I've never heard an offensive coordinator say at Miami ever, and I've been covering the team. Well, Gary started in 1920, and I started 50 years later. So I've been covering the team a long time. I've never heard an offensive coordinator say, we sometimes don't try to do too much because the defense needs a breather. We play for the whole team. So I was very surprised to hear that. That's like a head coach as an offensive coordinator type deal.
That's coming from the head coach, and that goes back to like what I've been saying. Like,
correct. Which is what I was going to give you some kudos, but now you don't want them. It's too late.
No,
you ruined it. Go ahead. Pat yourself on the back. Go ahead.
No. It's like if especially this week, this game on Saturday is a perfect example for this. Like, you're playing a team that has a great passing attack. It's a pro style, sophisticated passing attack. You got a really good quarterback. You got a really good offensive coordinator who could dial it up. It matches up perfectly with the weaknesses of your own football team, your defensive backfield and your pass coverage. So if anything makes sense when you're game planning for this game on Saturday, it's that you want to limit the number of reps that you have to defend. I mean, Guidry's going to have schemes, but once he rolls them out, they're going to be out there. Like, you don't want to have to defend 90 plays on Saturday, for example. So if the offense can control the ball a little bit better, can you utilize the running backs more, and control the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game, then that will help Miami as a team because it will relieve some of the pressure on the defense. You could throw the ball every down. You're not scoring every time you have the ball. And also, your weakness of your Heisman Trophy quarterback is he turns the ball over. Like that's been his weakness his whole career. If he's not turning the ball over, he's succeeding usually. So, there's a lot of all this that's going to come together on Saturday at noon. And this is not going to be, a hunky-dory trip to Louisville, most likely for Miami. This is going to be a 4-quarter battle. Guidry thinks that Tyler Show is arguably the best quarterback they've played this year. Certainly the way he uses arm angles to get the ball to the receiver and the receivers, and he's got a very solid, strong surrounding cast. So, but anyway, among the other things we talked to Guidry about is he took a lot of time when he was doing his self-scouting of seeing if there were tendencies with his play calls. And the good thing is he found there really weren't. And that means he's doing a good job of mixing up his defenses and not being predictable. So, I think that was a good development that came out of our conversations with Guidry yesterday. As far as Shannon Dawson, he sees, and I talked to him about this myself, the stats are like ridiculous. Okay. The stats are outstanding. Miami's leading in many offensive categories, moving the ball great, throwing the ball great, yada, yada, yada. But when I did the scout, before I wrote some of the stuff I've written in recent days, and I watched things back, I mean, I saw, like I've said, enormous room for like advancement in this offense. And Shannon Dawson is seeing the same thing. And, he talked about there have been so many plays they've left out there that things could be even so much better than what they are. So they are continuously pressing forward. So, that was a big theme of the conversation really with both coordinators in yesterday's sessions. Other things that Shannon Dawson talked a little bit about. He does spend time with Cam Ward, on the turnovers, and
yeah, that was interesting.
They're really, yeah. I mean, Matt, they're dancing through this delicately. Like, you don't want to overbake it with Cam Ward and take away what he is, but at the same time, he turns the ball over 2-3 times in the game on Saturday. That might be why you lose. So it's a slippery slope. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, Shannon Dawson seemed to indicate that his 9-year-old daughter makes better decisions with the football than Cam Ward at one point. He says she knows when the play is bad. What do I need to tell Cam Ward that the play was bad for? He already knows it, which I agree with. You don't need a quarterback like Cam Ward to come to the sidelines and you're in his face, yelling at him and telling him how bad he is or what a bad play he made. You got to turn the page. And I think that I actually, I'm Mr. Negative, but I agree with Shannon Dawson on this, that you just move on to the next play. That's already happened. What are you going to do? I mean, he knows he screwed up. He knows what he did wrong, right? It's pretty obvious to everybody what he did wrong. Not to do that. He tries to be Superman. And I know coaches tell you all the time, when you try to be Superman, you get in trouble. But Cam Ward is Superman. When you are Superman, it's okay to be Superman. But unfortunately, some of these teams, do find some kryptonite at times and do make some plays on him. But when that does happen, you don't want to, take that kryptonite and blow it into a million different pieces where it's just staying all over the field for the rest of the game. You want to just take the kryptonite and put it in the backpack and launch into outer space towards the sun and let Superman get back to work, which is what Shannon Dawson does. And then appropriately, I agree with him, you address it in the film room. And, you don't have to harp on it too much. But why'd you do this? What were you seeing? Here's what actually happened. Let's try to avoid doing this next time, okay? Because beyond that, what are you going to do? Because let's face it, Cam Ward is not running Shannon Dawson's offense. Shannon Dawson is running Cam Ward's offense, okay? That's the truth. And I know fans think that's backwards and crazy, but it's the truth. Because if Cam Ward only ran the plays within Shannon Dawson's scheme, he would be getting sacked left and right in the pocket. He would be having passes batted at the line, and he wouldn't have time to get receivers open down the field to make the plays he makes. And Miami would average 20 points a game. Shannon Dawson's offense apparently sucks. Cam Ward's offense is amazing. Okay, that's hyperbole. You can look that word up, Gary. But it's the truth. Cam Ward does not run anybody's offense. Cam Ward runs his own offense, and it's called improvisational offense.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that from? That's my term. You're stealing my material.
You did use that term, and it's true. It's like what's that in Chicago? They have that troupe that you give them an animal like raccoon and a food like peanut butter, and they do all these skits that are hilarious just off the top of their heads. That's Cam Ward creates his own offense. He creates the Miami offense, and his teammates, to their credit, they understand the play is never over. The most amazing thing for those of you that watched the New York Giants game from Monday night, okay, they did some more PO stuff. Daniel Jones tried to get out of the pocket a little bit and find guys down the field. They were called for, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 different illegal men down the field. Miami's offensive linemen know to stay within that range where they're not going to be called for a penalty. Miami's receivers know when my route's over, according to what Shannon Dawson taught me, it's not over. Look where Cam Ward is and find an open spot in the zone. Go towards where he's going. Try to get open, and he will throw the ball somewhere, okay? And I love that. I think that's great, and I hope fans appreciate it. Yeah, it's not Shannon Dawson's offense, okay? It's only a little bit of Shannon Dawson's offense for the first 3 seconds. Then the next 4 seconds are Cam Ward's offense. And that's so much fun to watch. And that's why, when Gary says change the offense, do this, do that, you can't have the turnovers. I'm like, no, man. I would rather lose every game and watch Cam Ward do what Cam Ward's doing and have so much fun watching that than to tell him you just got to run a system offense. Like, I am having the best time covering this team watching what he does.
Lose every game.
I'd rather lose every game. That's how much I enjoy watching. They score 40 points, they give up 50, right? They lose 50-40, 55-45. I'd rather have that than win games 20-17, 14-10, because I enjoy watching Cam Ward that much. He's so different from anything I've seen at Miami. And yeah, of course, I don't really want them to lose every game, obviously. I don't want them to lose any game, obviously. It's a lot more fun to cover a team that's winning.
Damn,
but my point is, do not rein in Cam Ward. So we're talking about how Shannon Dawson approaches Cam Ward about his mistakes, and I think it's perfect because it's not Shannon Dawson's offense. It's Cam Ward's offense. And if Cam Ward wants to do something, he should just tell Shannon Dawson, hey, here's what I'm doing. And Shannon Dawson will be like, okay, that's how it should be. Because Cam Ward is amazing. He's Superman. He's Batman. He's Green Lantern, all rolled up into one. He's Batman Lantern.
The truth of the matter is
a superhero name
that Shannon Dawson's having a great year. He really is. He's doing a spectacular
I just said it's not even his offense. What are you talking about?
But because he has to manage all this. It's like that the coach in him is having a heart attack every time Cam starts freelancing. Because that's not in the typical world, that's not winning offense. But for Cam Ward, it works, and this is what you signed up for. And because you signed up for it, and you have to let him roll with it, man. And you'll lose.
And I'm going to tell you another. Sorry to interrupt. I know people hate you interrupting me, so now I'm going to I'll take the pressure off of you. People can complain about me. I'm telling you right now, Cam Ward's going to slide down. Wherever they think he's getting picked in the top 10, he's going to slide down because NFL offensive coordinators do not like what he does. And as great as Cam is, they're worried he's not going to follow their system. So, like, I'm just predicting.
I know
fans are going to hate to hear that, but I just happen to know how this stuff works. Oops, you got to edit that out. How this stuff works. Sorry, boys and girls. Mr. Rogers made a mistake. The word of the day is SH*T. And it means what goes in the toilet loves to live in the toilet. And then it goes into the sea when you push a little lever. It's amazing.
All right. One other thing we should touch on is that it was confirmed, even though we kind of already knew it, that Jalen Rivers will be back for the offensive line this week. But Mario said that Markel Bell has played so well that they will make sure that Markel Bell gets reps in the game.
Louisville better be preparing for Markel Bell. He's going to be in there a lot, Louisville. Scheme up how to get around Markel Bell. Good luck. Come on.
How big of an impact do you think Jalen Rivers coming back is?
If Markel Bell plays 5 reps, I'll be amazed. If Jalen Rivers is actually 100%.
Let's remember to check that on Sunday.
Jalen Rivers is an all-ACC multi-year offensive lineman, left tackle, the best offensive lineman on this team. How Markel Bell is going to get into the game, you tell me, because he's only played left tackle. I mean, are you taking Jalen Rivers off the field? Are you putting him at center? Because according to Mario, he's the best center on the team also. I mean, it's ridiculous. This offensive line, as much as I want to say how great Markel Bell played while Jalen was out, he had several penalties. He was beaten for a couple of bad sacks. Left tackle is a tough position to play. And yeah, Markel Bell will be great, but he's not great yet. He's fine. He's okay. He's borderline good. But he's not great, and Jalen Rivers is great. It's a huge difference. And when you're going against an All-American defensive end that Louisville has, and Louisville has several good defensive linemen, like you need all hands on deck. So I think it's a huge. You can't overstate enough how big a deal it is getting Jalen Rivers back for this game. They needed that badly. And for all you who think the run game was suffering because of the offensive line, there'll be no excuses if the offensive line still can't open holes now. It'll just be a bad offensive line at that point, run blocking, because they'll be all hands on deck. They've been doing it long enough. They're all healthy. They should be good enough. And the running backs, if you hear Gary Ferman tell it, the running backs are the greatest group of running backs since 2002, 2003. Is that what you tell us, Gary, right? You're sure of that, right? 100% sure of that.
Hey, listen, I go to the freaking expert on running backs, and that's Don Solinger, who coached all those guys, and he says this group of running backs is as good as his running back rooms were. So, they may not all.
He was talking about Texas. That was the Texas team he was talking about.
No, like they may not all be developed yet. Like he's sitting there looking at Jordan Lyle and saying he can be Portis. I mean, he's looking at Mark Fletcher saying he could be Edgerrin. That this is what he's doing in his mind. But he's very impressed with them. And I mean, I am too, but I thought that was a pretty.
You do know Don as well as I do, right? He always says things are either the greatest or the worst. There's never normal in between. You do know that with Don. It's always they're the worst or they're the best. Like there's no in between. He gave you the best, and you're running with it.
Yeah, I'm running with it. I mean, I'm believing him. All right, a couple of things left to talk about today, but first, let me take a moment here. Well, first, let me say, if you like this show and like this channel, please hit your subscribe and like buttons. It will help us with the algorithms at YouTube in growing our audience. And if you're not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please become a member of our website, join our community of fans. They have a great time every day on the message boards. We do everything we can do every day to make you guys the most knowledgeable and educated fans. But your subscriptions do allow us to do what we do every day. So please get on over to CaneSport.com and become a subscriber if you're not already. All right. So you want to go to the Louisville game on Saturday, but you don't have tickets. And you're saying, what should I do? Where can I find the best seats for the best price? And it's a very easy question to answer. That is gametime.co, not .com, gametime.co. And if you're on your mobile phone, you can download the Game Time app from the App Store. and have that on your phone. And Game Time, without question, makes the ticket buying process absolutely seamless, the best you will find anywhere. And the thing that I really love about using Game Time is they have a new feature called Game Time Picks, and that's where they make getting the tickets so easy. I mean, they filter out all the fluff. They show you only the most incredible deals on the best seats. And you don't have to waste your time searching through listing after listing after listing, which when you're talking about a football game, I mean, there's thousands of tickets usually for sale online. And if somebody's not making it easier for you, it becomes it could be very intimidating, quite frankly, if you're not used to using these ticket sites. So go to gametime.co. They will make it easier for you. They have curated deals that help you find the best price on the best seats. They have super deals. They have last minute deals. If you want to wait, try to get the best price you can get. It's usually right before kickoff. You can do that at Game Time. You can even buy tickets in the middle of first quarter from Game Time if you want. They keep the marketplace open after the start of the event, even as much as an hour after it started. They have a lowest price guarantee, or they'll credit you 110% of the difference. They have a great feature that you can toggle all-in pricing. And a lot of the ticket sites you go to, they show you the ticket price. They don't show you the fees that you're going to pay. And depending on the price of the tickets, those fees can be more than the ticket. It's ridiculous, the fees that these ticket companies charge people to buy tickets for events. So you can toggle the button and get all-in pricing, know exactly what you're paying for your seats at the time. And you also can see the view from your seats. So if you want to see exactly what that game is going to look like from the tickets that you're buying, Game Time will show you an actual visual image of what those seats will look like. Your purchase is covered. They have event cancellation protection. If the event gets canceled, they'll refund you immediately within 24 hours. And this is one I really love. Like, sometimes you have to buy tickets months in advance, right? And then you have misfortune. You lose your job, for example. And, you just bought your daughter $2,000 Taylor Swift tickets, and you really would like to get that $4,000 back now that you don't have a job anymore. Well, they have job loss assurance, which means they will buy your tickets back from you if you lose your job and you need the money. How about that? Who else is going to do that other than gametime.co? So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets, theater tickets, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever event you want to go to, gametime.co has you covered. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code ON3 when you make your first purchase. They're going to give you $20 off of that first purchase. So create an account, gametime.co, not .com, or the Game Time app. Use the code ON3. They'll give you $20 off. You can buy your tickets in seconds. It just takes a couple taps. What time is it? It is game time for you if you need to buy tickets anytime in the near future. And I hope to see a whole bunch of you guys up at Louisville this weekend for this colossal football game. All right, a couple other stories on the website I'll touch on. As always, we got significant recruiting coverage on the site. We catch up with Ohio State commit Jaquez Carter. He's a defensive lineman from Newberry, Florida. He's committed to Ohio State, but he is still considering Miami. And they are letting him know at the U how badly they want him. They will not stop recruiting him until everything's said and done. He is planning a Miami visit. So read all about that in the story that's on our website today. We also have an update with Fort Lauderdale St. Thomas Aquinas top 50 safety, Justice Fitzpatrick, and you can be brought up to speed on where he stands in his recruiting process and where Miami might be in that. Tonight, 8 o'clock, CaneSport Live. Hopefully Matt will make it back from his stone crab excursion because he can't wait. It's day one. He's got to get his hand on those claws, so to speak. Hopefully Matt will make it back to join me. And a lot of you guys will call in as well, and we'll have a great CaneSport Live show tonight at 8 o'clock. you'll be able to get the link right from our CaneSport.com website. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you so much for joining us again this morning. We will see you next time, everybody.